Good morning, or potentially good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, February 27th. I need everyone to have a pencil or something to write with and paper. And everything that I'm going to write on this piece of paper, you're going to write down on your paper too. Now, this can be assignment paper or this can be just regular scratch paper. Either way. If you need to pause the video, you can now. Okay, we're going to review today some things that we should have already learned or recently we have gone over. Let's say that I have a polynomial like this one right here, 1/7 x squared plus 1 minus 10x to the 4th. And say that your problem asks you to write this polynomial in standard form. Standard form just means that we put the exponents in order from highest to lowest. So we would order the terms in a way that the term with the highest exponent is first and the term with the lowest exponent is last. In this case, x to the 4th is our highest exponent, so we would have negative 10x to the 4th first, and then this term would go second, so positive 1/7 x squared, and then finally plus 1. And then this would be my answer. Now, if we have a polynomial just like this one that we just had as our answer or as our problem just a second ago, this is called a trinomial. So any polynomial with 3 terms is called a trinomial. Now, if I had a polynomial with 2 terms, maybe something like this. This would be a binomial. And then finally, if I have just 1 term, this would be a monomial. Now, if I'm asking what the degree of my polynomial would be, what I'm essentially asking is the exponent of the variables. Now, you can't combine terms together, so if you have a polynomial with multiple terms in it, you're just going to look for the highest one, the highest term. So in this trinomial here, if I wanted to know the degree, I'd be looking at the exponent on the variables, and this first term would have a degree of 4 because this x has a 4. This term would have a degree of 2, and this term would have a degree of 0. Since they're separate terms, I can't add them together. I just take the highest one. In this case, it would be 4, so it would be a degree of 4. Looking at the binomial, I have x and y both in this term. So since they're in the same term, I do add the exponents together. So this would be 1 plus 2, which is 3. So this term has a degree of 3. And over here, I just have yz. So that'd be 1 plus 1 is 2. So I go with the highest one, in which case is this one. And so I would have a degree of 3. And then on my monomial, it's all one term, so I consider the exponents for all variables. I have 2 on the q, 1 on the x, 1 on the y. 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. So that would be a degree of 4. Okay, that is one type of problem. Now let's say I have this problem here. 5x squared plus 4x plus 8. That whole polynomial minus negative 9x minus 3. Now whether I have a subtraction sign or an addition sign here, essentially all I'm doing is combining all my like terms. Now I do have to distribute first if there's anything out front of the parentheses. So if there's a minus sign, you treat it as a -1 and you distribute a -1. This first polynomial here with 3 terms it's a positive 1, and if I were to distribute a positive 1, everything would all stay the same. So since it's not changing, I don't have to do it. However, on this binomial, or this two-term polynomial over here, I have this minus sign out front, and that's the same as having a negative 1 right there. And since distributing a negative 1 will change what's inside the parentheses here, I do have to do it. So I take my negative 1 and multiply it by each term, where I'm going to get positive 9x and positive 3. So I distribute the negative 1, and then after that, I'm just combining like terms and making sure it's in standard form, and then I'm finished. Since I already distributed this negative 1, I do like to just kind of lightly mark that out, since that way we won't get confused. Try to write it down again. From here, I'm looking for the term with the highest exponent. That's that one right there. So I'm going to start with 5x squared. There are no other x squared, so there's nothing to combine it with. I'm going to mark that out as I go. Next, I'm going to combine these two terms. 4x and 9x make 13x. And again, as I go, I'm marking them out. And then finally, 8 and 3 make 11. So plus 11, and that will be my final answer. That's one type of problem you could have. Now let's say I have two binomials and I am wanting to multiply them together. So I have this polynomial here and then this one here, and I'm in this case I'm multiplying. There's a couple different ways that we can do this, but one of the ways is to distribute. So I'm going to take this first term and I'm going to distribute it across the second binomial. Now, since there's two terms within this first thing that's being multiplied by that, I do have to end up distributing twice. So first I distribute the 2x, and then I'm going to distribute this to positive 2. So I take 2x times x, I'm going to get 2x squared. And then I take 2x times 7, and I get positive 14x. So that was me distributing the 2x to each part of this second binomial. After I do that, I'm going to take the 2 and just multiply it times each thing. So 2 times x is plus 2x, and then positive 2 times positive 7 is plus 14. I do have to combine any like terms that I have. When you're doing these, it's almost always these two terms in the middle. In this case, it is these two terms in the middle. 14x and 2x make 16x. I'm going to keep my 2x squared and keep my plus 14. And then this is my answer. Okay. Now let's say I have something like this. Negative 3x plus 5 multiplied by negative 2x squared minus 7x minus 5. Now I have a binomial right here and a trinomial out here. I can do this the same way. So, I mean, I can distribute just like I did here. Distribute this negative 3x across all terms, and then distribute the 5 across all terms, and combine all like terms. So we could do it that way, or we could do it this other way. So I'll go ahead and show the other way, just so we're seeing both ways. The other way is the box method. So I'm going to make 6 boxes, similar to what I did here. And I'm going to take these two terms within this binomial and write them right here. So negative 3x and positive 5. And I'm going to take these three terms across the top. And then from here, again, I'm just multiplying. So I'm going to multiply this times these two things together to make this box. So I have negative 2x squared times negative 3x. That's just positive 6x cubed. And then I'm going to take negative 3x times negative 7x. And I get 21x squared. Negative 3x times negative 5 is positive 15x. And negative 2x squared times positive 5 is negative 10x squared. Negative 7x times 5, negative 35x. Finally, negative 5 times positive 5 is negative 25. From here, I just need to list out my answer, making sure I combine any like terms that I have. So I'm going to first have 6x cubed, and then these two will combine to make positive 11x squared. And these two will combine to make negative 20x. And then I'll have this last term of negative 25. And then this will be my answer. Okay. So from here, we're going to work on our assignment for today. So we should be on Delta Math. The assignment's called 22724 Classwork, 7.1 and 7.2 Review. I want you to enter your answers online, so put in your answers into Delta Math, but also you are going to turn in your work from today. So make sure you have all the work that we did on this video, as well as any work that you have to do on Delta Math. There could be problems on Delta Math that don't require any work, and if it doesn't require any work, you don't have to show any work. However, if there is work to show, then show your work on paper and make sure you turn it in. If for whatever reason you don't have a Chromebook or you don't have access to a Chromebook, alternatively you can do this assignment on this page, these problems.